Hi, this is Corinne from Music Mastery, and in this video I'm going to be going over some fundamentals of playing the oboe. I'm going to be talking about breathing, long tones, and preparing your reed to play. So first I'm going to talk about the reed. So the first thing, before I even assemble my instruments, by the way, if you haven't watched that video, you can go watch it on MusicMastery.band. Before I assemble my instrument, I like to take my reed and just put it in my water. So I'll take this little cup. If you don't have a water cup, definitely get one. And I just use like an old medicine bottle, and there's a lid, and then I just put it in my bag whenever I have to go somewhere with my oboe. So I just let it sit in there for usually like a minute or maybe longer. And then once it is done soaking and I put my instrument together, I'll take it out, and you'll notice that your reed is super wet, obviously, when you take it out first. So you don't want to play on a really wet reed or a reed that has water in the cork. So I like to just put my mouth on the cork and spit out the water that is inside of my cane. And then it's still wet, so kind of just maybe go like this with your fingers and kind of suck the water out, and that's probably ready. So go ahead and put it in your instrument, and depending on the type of reed, it may be super easy to go in, kind of like mine. It kind of just goes in and out, and it may be really hard to put in. So if it's really hard, just kind of put it in with smaller wiggling motions like this, and then when you're taking out a reed that's really hard, do the same thing, because if you try to like rip it out, it could actually rip the cork too, and you definitely don't want to do that. So once the reed is in the instrument, I like to kind of just, suck some air out of it a little more. And probably ready. So before you start practicing, I like to do long tones, which are really beneficial for building up your airflow over time, because when you first start playing the oboe, your airflow will not be able to be held that long. You might hold a long tone for maybe 5 seconds, maybe 8, maybe 10, depending on how much you practice, obviously. And that's why it's so important to start with long tones, because it really gets your airflow warmed up and ready. So when you breathe in long tones, and when you're breathing anytime you play the oboe, it's good to breathe from your diaphragm. So an exercise I like to do to kind of show how you breathe through your diaphragm is envisioning your stomach as a balloon. And when you breathe, you're blowing up the balloon. So just place your hand on your diaphragm and just breathe like blowing up the balloon. So your stomach your hand should move a little bit when you breathe up and breathe back down. So anytime you take a breath before playing, really just take a big breath. Never breathe through your nose, because then it'll be really short-lived. And also make sure that, again, it's coming from your diaphragm and not from your chest. Kind of just like I just feel that in my chest. So when you take a big breath, just feel your stomach kind of rising like that, because your notes will be able to be held way longer. You will have a deeper, richer tone, and your sound will be more filled. If it comes from your chest, it'll be really shallow and really short-lived again. So let's go ahead and start with some long tones. So with long tones, I usually like to hold mine for at least 8 slow counts or longer. But again, if you are a beginner, you may not be able to be holding a note that long. So just as long as you can go is what you can do. And just keep holding it until you can't anymore. So again, I like to start on A and go down the instrument. So I'll play an A first, then a G, then I'll play an F, just the regular F fingering, then an E, a D, and then a C. And again, just hold those all 4 as long as you can. And over time, you'll be able to see a lot of progress with starting and stopping way longer than you did before. So those are basic long tones. I really suggest doing those before every practice session, even if you're in a band rehearsal, maybe warming up with long tones, and just in general playing a bunch of notes before you start playing your music. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you have any other questions on assembly or reads or any of that, go ahead and check out our fundamentals videos on MusicMastery.band. Thanks for watching.